All right. Good evening, fellow traders. Yesterday's analysis, uh, this was the level that we were playing with. We were playing with um, 2679.6. I want you to quickly have a look at what the type of action that we did today. We'll pull up the 15-minute chart. Um, so this is where we were yesterday. This is what we were aiming at. We had a sell-off. Remember where I was looking for my buys was right below this, right? So given the fact that we would have got stopped out, right? And there was no place for me to go actually long. So if I was to actually have my longs from the dip buy area that I was talking about yesterday, I would have been stopped out, right? That's just part of trading. The low that we created yesterday was 2660, right? 2660 and 1. So if we were to put that right there and try to adjust it, we would have 2660. I think was it 1? No, it was 26. Whoa. 26, yeah, 2661. So let's see. If I was to go long, I want to see how much of a range would I have been flunked with. Yeah, no, I wouldn't be able to hold this. This is too much risk for me. Even this, you could see, there is no way I'm holding through this. And the bounce that happened after that, probably the comeback, the come through, if we were awake, we might have, taken the trade. But I don't think it's valid. I would have been stopped out and that called it, right? And that would have been it. So this is where I was looking for dip buys. I would have been stopped out either on this wick because there is no way I'm giving it all these points still down here. There is no way that's happening. You could see, let's say I gave it till here, I still would have been stopped out. If I had given it till here, or even here, but this is what 5260. That is a long stop that I would not do, right? And coming into the morning, this is where we had, like if we stay above this, I was looking for longs, right? The first time we touched it, we sold off. We tried on the next 15 minute. We closed below. The next candle, as you can see, we closed above. We still stayed within the range. We again tried, and then finally we had that breakthrough, which happened. There was no trade here because if you look at it into the 5 minute, the only time that you would have been in a trade was, let's say this, you got in long here risking this. Yeah, you had a decent trade, right? This was probably the trade, and you'd be out by here, which is, let's see how big of a deal that was. So let's say you had your longs here, you entered here. Let's say you entered somewhere in around here, like, or forget it. Let's say you entered here, right? Like you saw this, you saw it break, and I took this position right here, and I had, let's say I kept my stops down here, right? That doesn't make sense, right? Like it's not a proper risk reward. But let's say I decided to come down here, and I told myself, okay, fine, you know what? Since I like the trade, let's say we did this, right? The pullback, we're like, okay, fine, we see the liquidity grab right here. We're like, okay, we go back in right here, right? That was, that is a good risk reward trade, even if you gave it below here, it still makes sense, right? Was it good enough? No. I'll tell you why it wasn't good enough, okay? So the way we approached this level itself made me hesitant, right? Yeah, fair enough, we had this strong move. We came up here, but as soon as we come up here, remember what I told you yesterday, that we had selling pressure above. We don't know what's going to happen once we come into this area. So same thing that happened. We sold off, we closed, we went below this. Fair enough to say, you could say this was a pullback, but there's no buys here. There's nothing here, right? The place that now I'm interested is for today. Now, let's say that we're looking into today's analysis. What do we have here? Let's say let's remove all the drawings first. Okay, what do we have? So we have a pullback. We have this range that we created. We know that there is selling here, selling here, selling here. The only trade that any logical person would take would be anything above this, right? Because the one that I showed you right here in and around this area, you could still you could face issues here, right, with the selling pressure coming back down. It's something that could happen, could not happen. However, that being said, I would still be interested to see how price reacts above the level that we had yesterday, right? And the level that we're talking about was the 26, this one right here. I'll say, you know what? Let's give it this. So uh, let's say 26. We said 2679. I'm gonna say 2680. Uh, so let's say it was 2680, right? 2680. Like I said, the way I trade is quite different from maybe the way a lot of other people trade. I have setups that I look into for probability more than you could say anything else, right? So you can see that. So if we say 2680, let's see what exactly happened. So I like to go into the 1 minute as well to see exactly the type of action that we were doing, and it seems fair enough. So I like the same level, right? Now, if I go back into the daily, I know it might sound confusing, but this is the process that I do. This is how I basically trade. It might not make sense for anybody else. It doesn't have to. It makes sense for me. So as long as I'm able to get my pips out of it, I consider that to be a winning trade. I consider that to be a trade that is fine. So something that I would like to look into is the close of this week's candle here, right here. That is 2676.03. So we're gonna have that as well. We're gonna have that mark 2676. So 2676 and 3 cents. Hopefully that is exactly where it is. And 26, 76. Okay, yeah, fair enough. So we're approaching that level right now. As we speak, we're approaching the level. I might have a trade over here. If I decide to go long right now, let me just see. Let's just see how much of a risk that would be with our stops. Let's say we put our stops. I don't like this. However, just because I'm recording, I might decide to go with a trade. So let's say we put our stops at 75. Okay. With I'm just gonna put a very very very. It's $21, right? That's if I market the order right now. I could go down till 74s as well, because honestly, I do normally take, if it's like 3, I'll take like 60. So depending on that. So for the sake of doing this, let's say I put my order resting at 76s, right? So we're gonna put at 76 and stops below that. So we're gonna go with I'm gonna double it. I'm gonna go 2 units, and we're gonna just place an order right there. Okay, so we have our order set, and we'll just see what happens. Now, I would like to also, before I get into execution, I don't know, I might even cancel this if I don't like it, depending on the type of action it shows me. We might decide to give it up. Now, looking into how the dollar index has been moving, and mind you, be mindful of the time as well. It's almost 8 o'clock. We're coming into the pre-market of the Tokyo Exchange. I normally would start trading at around 8:30. So if you look at the daily candle of the dollar index, we're still, remember, this was the level that I was talking about yesterday, right? If the selling pressure comes from here, we would look into gold heading up. Let's see what the Nikkei, whatever you guys like to call it, is doing. Oh, so we had a dump today. Remember we talked about the S&P as well. Let's see what that did. I haven't looked into the charts today. The whole day I was doing something else. Like I said, I am also working for a brokerage firm, so there are things that I do apart from trading that might require me not to look into it. So, yeah, that's just part of it. So the S&P yesterday was we had a huge run. Today, looks like an inside candle right here, eh? Oh well, would you look at that? Quite interesting. Anyways, that it's something I don't trade this that well. The S&P 500. If anything, I would like to take breakouts and that's it. Nothing else, nothing more, nothing less. So coming back to gold, bread and butter. If we get the trade, we get the trade. So my computer is getting slow. Please don't crash. Okay, so we have it here. We're still trending down. We have a couple more seconds for the market to open. It would be quite interesting to see exactly if we do a liquidity grab, or how will we be stopped out or not? Is it a $40 loss? Do I take the hit? Because think of it this way, like this does what it does, right? I don't care about the outcome of any particular trade. It's just that I just trade the way I trade, and I'm just trying to load up the news here because I don't know exactly if there's any news or something. Like I said, I have work. I do things on the side as well. So we have the Japanese speeches at 9:30. Okay, so 16 seconds. We have this. Nothing big, but like I said, tomorrow, Wednesday, we have a lot of information coming in. The market needs to digest all of this import prices, a lot of speeches. I think the oil number is tomorrow as well. So it's a strong 15-minute candle that closed. And am I in? Not yet. We're still on having a limit. We will get hit if it. Yeah, okay, we're in the trade right now. As you can see, we are long at that price. I don't know if it's gonna hold. I don't know if it doesn't matter to me. Uh, it could hold, it could not hold. It could just continue flushing down. Eh. Market does what the market does. The market does market things. That's all we can say. Anyways, back to the analysis that we were trying to say. So stops below this, right? I mean, at the same time, if we spend too much time here without showing me, there's not much selling happening either. So I'm okay to say that this trade can stay. At the same time, I don't know if it looks that great right now because that's a huge candle. It's a huge, huge candle, and we're seeing. So again, like this is a range play, right? Like you can never predict range plays. It's just something that it could happen, it could not happen, kind of thing. And it doesn't matter even if it happens or not. It doesn't matter. Now, coming back to the ES or the even the Nikkei. So if you look into the ES, places that I would be interested to take a trade since we broke out would be I would certainly be looking. So the thing is this, like we just broke out, right? Like we're sitting at all-time highs. Having the elections coming up, we potentially could decide to continue from here. So at the same time I could have a long below this, right? Or below this even. So here's what I'm gonna do. Let's see. Let's look at this. So this is, what's this low? 50s, 50s. So I'm going to place an order. Let's hopefully I get filled at some point. We're going to place it at 58.50. Okay, so we're going to go a bit lower. I'm going to say 58.49. Okay, 58.49. Stops are going to be $30 below that. One shot, nothing else. So this is our second order that we have placed. I don't think the gold trade is doing anything as of now. It's just something that we took because I was recording, because we were in a certain level that I liked. But like I said, it's not doing great. It's at the same time, these types of trades, they take time, right? Like it just takes the time it takes, and that's all it is. Now, I should have been taking the trade above this, and looking at it from this perspective, the reason why I decided to go long off of that level right there is because you had one tap, you had the second tap, and now we're here, right? Now I could move this to here, but depending on the type of action that we get, if we spend too much time here not doing the right type of action, but basically price action, right? I would decide to cut this trade, depending on the type of action, depending on the type of candles that we see in the next couple of minutes. If I get stopped out, I get stopped out. That's it. There's nothing. There's nothing to do there. We'll go on to the next trade. That's simple as that. Bitcoin. Let's see what Bitcoin is up to. Crypto is something that I have been monitoring. I haven't been trading it, because of, you can see this, like, what the hell is this? This is basically hunting stuff. This is like a pump and then a dump. This always happens in crypto. I know there are successful traders who trade these types of moves. I am not part of that group. However, we're coming into a level that I marked up yesterday. We have trouble over here, so I would certainly like to see what we do above this level. So I'm just gonna place an alert on it. So this is how I try. I just have alerts that I set up, and I just go based off of that. So the Russell, we're coming down. This is, let's see. I don't know. We're still doing nothing, right? We're still, because it's 8:05. This is a very slow time in the way the market moves. And again, if I get stopped, sorry, I just clicked that. You can see the dollar index is trying to push higher. So if that's the case, then gold is definitely going to be coming down. Like I said, the type or the time when you should be looking into a trade is over here. Like honestly, there is no reason for me to be in this trade right now. That's what I personally think. However, like I said, you have to. There's nothing. There's no winning. There's no losing. The way I see this is just purely by math. It's calculated risks, right? Like if I lose, what do I lose? I lose $40, and that's it. Move on to the next trade. It's as simple as that. There's nothing else. There's nothing more. There's nothing less that you could do. So that being said, you know, we just wait. We just watch. There's nothing much for me to do here. This needs to be in play to come into the ES. I have an order that's been thrown out already. Where is it? So that's down there. Uh, Again, the same thing. I might get stopped out. Who knows? Who cares? And then, but this is what I trade the most. This is something that I always keep trading is gold, and it could be a short. Who knows, right? Like we came up to that level that I talked about yesterday, hit the liquidity up here, flushed, same thing again, flushed, right? And we're also breaking a 4-hour low. So it's something that we just have to wait and watch. to see exactly what happens. But yeah, if this gets hit, it gets hit. Like I said, I don't care. $40, move on to the next trade. That being said, for tomorrow, like I said, we have a lot of activity. We have a lot of information that the market is going to be digesting. My level is up here. I know that there's a lot of issues that we would run into here. So something that I'll be looking for is 2,700. Like I said, this is just me playing around with the market right now. It shows that there is buying. You can see it's all red. Not something that I'm keen of, but you know, it would be nice. It would be nice if we saw the move happen right now. But you know, market does market things. It's not something that you could even think that, oh, you know, I'm a great trader because I made one good trade. No, I've been trading for a long time. I've been losing money. I've been winning, making money. I have winning trades, losing trades. I've passed accounts. It doesn't matter. It's just something that, you know, with time, you get better. With time, you make better informed decisions. You take lesser number of trades depending on the type of trader that you are. Some people scalp, some people invest. I feel it's a lot of it is mentality, right? A lot of it depends on how well, you know, informed you are about the market. Exactly what type of trades that you would place would depend on everything that you do on a day-to-day basis. How well your mentality is coming to a trade. So coming to this trade right here, you can see there is buying, right? There is buying. However, this is not enough buying to say that, okay, this is a fantastic level. Now, gold has been doing this for the past couple of days because of one thing. There's a lot of news coming up. I'm expecting a dump before we see the rip. I cannot call the dump. I'm not willing to go short on gold just because, you know, my bias, or I feel like, okay, there could be a short coming in because of the elections, and then we could see it go back up. I'm not willing to do any of that shit. But that being said, all I can say is, yeah, it looked good for a long. We are in the long. I might get stopped out. I don't care. That being said, I am. It's time for me to clock out. I will see you guys tomorrow. I am going to stop my recording. Bye bye.